ladies on The View just did a bang-up job, and they banged John McCain around.
You know, you used to be more of the maverick, then you sort of turned.
In what way?
Well, you became much more lockstep, I think, with your party, with George Bush's policies. I don't see the old John McCain who used to really buck the system as much, because I can understand why. You want to get elected. But, you know...
I've been through this litany before when I say, okay, what specific area have I, quote, changed? Nobody can name it. I'm the same person that I always was. I'll be glad to have Whoopi do it. But the point is that I'm the same person, and I have the same principles, and I have the same issues, whether it be spending, whether it be climate change, whether it be the conduct of the war in Iraq, whether it be torture of prisoners, no matter what it is, and fighting excess and wasteful spending, I'm the same guy.
What could you name any changes on? What? He said he laid out a challenge. Did you just lay that challenge out to me, John McCain? Because you better buckle up, sit down, son, take a seat. I got a long list for you. How about when you called Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and those evangelical ministers the agents of intolerance? And then that didn't work out for you, and then you came back around running in 2008 and kissed their ring. That you actually went to Jerry Falwell's university, and you went and did a speech there and said, oh, wow, what a lovely guy Jerry Falwell is, and how honored you are to be in his presence. What happened? I thought he was the agents of intolerance. Could that be called a flip-flop? Hell yeah. On torture, you mentioned torture there. What are you talking about? In the beginning, give you credit, man, you fought against the Bush administration who wanted to torture. In 2005, you came out and said, hey, look, this was done to me, we can't do it to others, and you fought against Bush. You lost. It seemed that you had won, but Bush did a little signing statement and said, yeah, I agreed to this, but I don't really believe it. I'm going to continue torturing people. That's my executive decision, right? And you did nothing about it. I thought that was bad enough, but it got much worse. Just last year, the bill came up again, but this time to specifically allow the CIA to do the same harsh interrogation tactics that the North Vietnamese used on you, John. And what did you do? You flip-flopped. And you voted to allow the CIA to do torture. Now, you telling me no one can name a flip-flop you did? That was a giant flip-flop. That showed you had no integrity. I can't believe you voted for torture. But you didn't even stop there. What you did was you told the president, hey, please veto this bill, because I got to have the torture. I got to have it. So that's point number 2. Point number 3, immigration. You said, you know what, hey, we've got to have a reasonable policy here that closes the borders, but at the same time has a sensible and sane policy towards the 12 million illegal immigrants that we have in this country. It was a fine bill. I believe you were doing it with Senator Kennedy. It was bipartisan. It's that old maverick that Joy Behar was referring to. Later in that same year, running for president, during a debate, you told CNN, I would not vote even for my own bill. Would you call that a flip-flop, John? When you say I wouldn't even vote for my own bill, which was basically about 6 months ago? I mean, it wasn't even 6 years ago. It was 6 months ago. I'd call that a flip-flop. How about you said spending and tax cuts? How about that? In 2001 and 2003, you were brave and you stood up to Bush and you said, these tax cuts that you want are going to help the wealthy too much and not the middle class not enough. I'm against these tax cuts because they're going to lead to out-of-control deficits. Well, John, you were right. But here's the problem. You flip-flopped on it. So when this election came around and you had to go around kissing the ass of all the Republicans who you needed to help you win the primaries, and apparently you think you need to win the general election, you came out and said, did I say the tax cuts were bad? No, I love the tax cuts. Not only do I like George Bush's tax cuts, I want to make them permanent. But not only do I want to make all of Bush's tax cuts permanent, I want to add one of my own for the richest people. Corporations should get a tax cut from 35% to 25%. So now you went from saying, hey, George Bush's tax cuts are way too much, they're going to ruin our budget, and they're structured to too much towards the wealthy. You went from that all the way to George Bush's tax cuts aren't enough. Let's cut taxes for the rich even more, and let's blow up the deficit even more. You want me to keep going because I can keep busting you up all night long, John. You want more flip-flops? I mean, just name it, and I'll name the topic, and I will give it to you. God, man, he sold out everything he stood for to try to win this election.